Well, as regular viewers of BookTV know, all of the major book festivals this spring have been canceled due to the coronavirus. BookTV was scheduled to be live in Tucson and Los Angeles and cover festivals in New Orleans and San Antonio as well, all canceled. So we know the effect it's having on book fairs and large gatherings, but is it having an effect also on bookstores and smaller businesses? Mitchell Kaplan runs a chain of bookstores based in Coral Gables, Florida, called Books and Books. Mr. Kaplan, has coronavirus affected your business?
Yes, Peter. Unfortunately, it has. We've been holding on as long as we could, but it looks like starting tomorrow, we're going to be closing down all 6 stores that we have in the Miami area and trying to move our sales online and encourage people to buy at our website. And this is happening, I believe, across the country with independent bookstores everywhere. And like normally happens, independent bookstores are very representative of what's happening with small business. So there are many, many thousands upon thousands of small business people who are suffering the same way we are.
Mr. Kaplan, are you doing this because the state of Florida has mandated it, or because you've just seen such a drop in foot traffic and sales that it's a necessity?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why we're doing it. One is at this point, with the mandates that have come through and the guidance from the CDC about people not gathering in places where there are more than just a few people, we feel it's our responsibility to heed those warnings. Ironically, the thing that makes an independent bookstore so great, which is that it is a gathering place and a place where communities come together, that's now one of the big liabilities that we have. And so, in an attempt to help, flatten out that curve, as they say, we're closing our stores.
What about author events? Have you had a lot of cancellations prior to the closing of your stores? And go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We've had 30 or 40 author cancellations starting a couple of weeks ago. People were canceling. So we've had lots and lots of cancellations going into April, and some very big name authors that we expected very large turnouts for, as well as smaller debut authors. It's having an impact all across publishing as well. Imagine being a young author and it's your first book coming out, and it comes into the world right now. And it's a very, very difficult situation for the literary community.
Have you thought about doing online videos with these authors?
Yes, that's something that we're exploring, and publishers are exploring it. We're exploring it. I also have a podcast called The Literary Life, and my podcast is going to continue, in which I interview authors. I was usually doing it with authors who are coming here, but I'm going to do remote interviews as well. So we're going to try to keep everything alive as much as we can, in the spirit of the store alive, online, through Facebook Live, through Instagram, through our channel on YouTube, as well as our website.
Mr. Kaplan, how long do you think you'll be closed?
That's a really good question. I wish I had the answer to that. But what we're announcing is that we're going to reassess every 2 weeks. So, basically March 31st, we're going to look at it and see where we are then, and see if there's a chance to open. I suspect that this is going to impact not only my business, but small businesses everywhere for many, many, many months to come. even if we do get open. I mean, we've been open the last week with very, very minimal business. People just don't want to go out. And I think probably until a vaccine is found and people feel secure, there's always going to be that sense of insecurity in gatherings.
Had you shut down your restaurant earlier, or is that shutting down as well tomorrow?
The restaurant is shutting down tonight. Actually, that is the one thing that the state has mandated, that restaurants will only be open for takeout. But that's not happening too much either. I have friends in the restaurant business as well as our own, and I think people are staying away from that too.
Now,
people are really hunkering down.
You know, BookTV has worked with Mitch Kaplan for years, and my guess is that you're quite concerned about the employees of those 6 stores.
Well, that's the key thing. That's one of the reasons why I stayed open as long as I did, in order to keep my employees working. You know, most people, you know, it's been said that most people work paycheck to paycheck, and most small businesses work revenue day to revenue day. So, you know, if in fact there is no revenue coming into small businesses, there isn't much money to pay employees if nothing is happening. So I have kept my employees on as long as they can. We're going to keep their health insurance going. We're going to try to protect them as much as we can, and we're going to lobby. I know that the American Bookseller Association is lobbying the federal government, you know, when they're starting to bail certain things out, that they pay close attention to the small businesses and the people they employ, the people in the front line.
Mitchell Kaplan is also a co-founder of the Miami Book Fair. Mr. Kaplan, is there any talk yet about the Miami Book Fair not happening in November?
No, we have not gotten to that point yet. And I hope we don't have to. I hope by then, you know, there is a modicum of caution, or a modicum of that there's enough room for people to gather cautiously in a book fair setting. Because as you know, Peter, you've been to our book fair. It's so meaningful to the city and to the county. We've never really had to cancel the book fair completely. One year we had a hurricane coming, and we canceled the street fair, but we had all the authors there. If we did cancel, it'd be the first time in close to 40 years that we've canceled.
And finally, what is your website if people wish to purchase books, see author interviews, or listen to your podcast?
That's wonderful, Peter. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell people about booksandbooks.com. And you have to spell out the and, booksandbooks.com. And you can purchase books online there, and you can sign up for our newsletter. My podcast is available wherever you listen to your podcast, but it's also available through Literary Hub, lithub.com, and but you can find it on Apple and other things. It's called The Literary Life with Mitchell Kaplan, and I interview. It's kind of like a conversation over your backyard fence. Just a conversation with authors and people in the literary world.
Mitchell Kaplan, thank you for spending a few minutes with BookTV.
Peter, it's always a pleasure.